Here's a question from Les. He says, since my last update download, Filmora does not save rendering and I cannot work on 30-minute videos until it renders. This now takes hours instead of 20 minutes. Anyone know what's going on? Anyone that's been following my channel for a while will know exactly what's happening here. So rather than giving a complete description here as to what is going on, I would like to just describe where you can find videos that I have written on this topic. Obviously, the problem is the computer is running out of memory. And when that happens, it starts writing information to the hard drive or something else is happening. So instead of going into the details, I would rather just tell you about my channel and where you can find a number of videos that I have created on this topic. I will leave a link in this video in the description to my channel, and also in particular to the playlist, which I call Lack of Compute Power. And there's 20 videos on this particular list. It goes into some detail on the various topics. Now, the issue with Les is the fact that his computer is now running out of resources. Each time they update Filmora, they add more features to it, making it more powerful. And eventually, each one of our computers tends to reach their limit. It doesn't matter what kind of computer you have, how powerful it is very easy to use Filmora, or rather to overpower Filmora with data so that it no longer responds as quickly. In other words, the computer can't keep up with the instructions that Filmora is sending. So I started some time ago here in 24, almost a year ago. I made this rather longer video demystifying lagging and crashing and other weird effects in Filmora. This explains what happens when you're exporting a video, and it demonstrates the difference between various kinds of setups on computers. And if you don't have a computer that has ray tracing, for example, then you're going to run into an issue. Now, the great thing about Filmora is that they haven't given up on the users who don't have the latest and best in computing power. By taking certain steps, you can still do really good things in Filmora. In addition to that, I made a companion program to this not too long ago, which explains the difference between preview renders and proxy files. This is what happens during the editing phase when you're trying to put your project together and everything is running really slow. The use of proxy files can significantly speed up your editing process if it's slowing down when there. The preview render is something that you would do when information is on the timeline, so that Filmora can more easily do the editing for you, or not do the editing for you, but allow you to do the editing. So this is a good explanation of that. Now, in addition to these, there obviously are a number of other things in here that, because I've made this video many times or explained this to many people. There are ways to, for example, improve your workflow. Here's a tool. Here's a video on how to use the Instant Cutter tool. The Instant Cutter tool, and I may have made a newer version of that. Yes, this one here, make lossless cuts to my video clip. And this also explains the Instant Cutter tool. This well, let me just stop right here and say that the number one thing a person needs to do when they run into this situation is to limit the stuff that you import into your computer, into your project. and manage whatever memory you have as best as you can. The Instant Cutter tool allows you to trim your video clips before or as you're importing them into Filmora, thereby making more memory available to your project and to your editing experience. And then I also have a video in here on how to work with considerations when working with a larger project. How can you break a project down so that you don't have any of these issues? It may mean that you need to work on your longer project in segments. I explain the difference, and this is where, again, the Instant Cutter tool comes into play. When you, for example, have a long clip of which you're maybe going to use 10 seconds, or maybe you got several segments in that longer clip that you're going to use. You bring that in on the timeline, you cut it, that is, you trim off the stuff that you don't want, and then and you go on editing. Once you trim it on the timeline, it doesn't disappear from memory. And you know this because you can go ahead and save your project, and you can open it the next day, and you can click on that trim piece of video, and you can drag it out to its full length. That means every time you load the project, you're loading that whole video in again and again. And the same is true for all the other video clips that you move in. So this is a good video explaining what you can do to break it into segments and work in smaller segments. When you have a lot of stuff on the timeline, what I mean by a lot of stuff, but you're using a lot of tracks, this is something that requires a lot of computing power. Filmora lets you create 100 tracks. I don't have a computer that can handle 100 tracks of information stacked on top of each other. It really has to do a lot of computing there. So exporting small segments allows you to condense everything into a single track, audio and video and everything like that. Everything gets rendered. So you did a small segment, and Les is talking about a 30-minute video that he's working on. And you could do like 10-minute segments. You have 3 segments, and then you export each one of those. You start a new project and you combine them, and now you have everything that's located on a single track. You can now combine and export the 3 clips with no issue, and it won't take you a half an hour, or it won't take you several hours. Again, even if you don't watch the Demystifying, it's a 30-minute video. I realize it's a little long, but even if you don't watch all of it, in the very end of it, because in this video I compare 4 different setups to show you the effects of it, and the very last part of it, I compare the amount of time it takes to render the same project. So I use the exact same project on 4 different setups, and on one it takes like 7 minutes for it to export it, and in another version it takes an hour and a half to export it. And it all depends on your setup. There are lots of things that you can do, as I say, and I explain that in here. So rather than going through all of those things and perhaps missing some points for you to take into consideration, I would recommend taking a look at my channel, taking a look at this playlist, lack of compute power, and it will answer many of your questions. I'm sorry to do it in this way, but today I'm a little crunched on time, so I can't explain all the very little nuances. But even if you have a situation where, for example, you can't export what you've got, there's ways that you can salvage your project to export a segment of it. And you may be in the middle of a big project right now, and like Les says, it's taking him a long time. Export a section of it. There's ways to make sections into templates and so forth. There's ways to get past the fact that the computer is crashing while it's exporting because it just ran out of power. So this is my recommendation, is to, sadly I'm just promoting my my channel here, but there are a number of videos here that can answer a bunch of different questions for you. And if you, after looking at my channel, you have specific issues, I will make you a very specific video just for your particular issue. So this is my suggestion to you at this point. You're simply running out of memory, and there is a way around it.